Sutton Porter is a political satirist, and she's an on-air personality on the Rick Amato Show. I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple of nights ago at an event where I really had a good time laughing. If you ever get a chance to watch conservative comedy with Sayet, I really would recommend it because I had a good time. Right now what I'd like to do is bring up Sutton. She's going to have a few words to say to you.
Thank you. I'm really proud of you, San Diego. This is what America's about. We stand up for what we believe in. We don't let somebody else change what has been here for so many years. This is what makes America beautiful and strong. You know what concerns me most is the deterioration of the Constitution that's already happening. Thank you. Roger was too tall. Well, we're seeing the deterioration of our Constitution under this current administration. We've already lost freedom of speech. Even though it exists in writing, it's really gone. Freedom of religion, that's being chipped away at too. And what we're here to talk about today, the right to bear arms, our Second Amendment. President Obama claims his propositions are in place to protect us because we're just too incapable of doing it ourselves. No, the purpose, the reason for the Second Amendment was to protect ourselves, not for the government to have that position. It's for us to protect ourselves. Violence is something that no one can stop, liberal nor conservative. But it sure makes it a lot easier if you're well-equipped, well-informed, and well-educated on how not to be a victim. The problem is not firearms or their cartridges. The problem is a mental health issue, and that's what needs to be addressed. That, Mr. President, should be what you're focusing on, not your agenda. Jumping into this mix, we've got people like Joe Salazar in Colorado who are taking women back to pre-suffragette times. Women can't handle firearms. They might pop around at someone. We need to vomit or urinate when we're attacked. Most women aren't carrying healthy school lunches from Michelle and can't induce vomiting so quickly. The only thing that I see being urinated on is our liberty. And by the way, 1 in 5 college women are raped during their college years. So, Joe Salazar, I'd like to address this to you. Suppose a flash mob of horny men started stalking you. Now, just bear with me. I know that's really a hard visual for anybody to be aroused by Joe Salazar, but just bear with me. I really hope that call box and whistle work for you. So, Mr. President, you can take back your Homeland Security video that tells us we need to protect ourselves with scissors, because we don't have the right to bear office supplies. We have the right to bear arms. Yeah. You may be president now, but the Constitution was here long before you, and if we stand up, which I see a lot of San Diego is doing today, it'll endure long after your term. Yeah.
Mr. Evan Sayet is an intellectual, although he goes by satirist and writer. And I do have to say that as an influence, he's been very positive. And I would encourage those of you who are not familiar with him to pick up his book. He's got a book here in several different areas. It's called The Kindergarten of Eden, How the Modern Liberal Thinks, and Why He's Convinced That Ignorance is Bliss. Now, I've been reading this book, and the first night that I had it, I literally couldn't put it down for 15 minutes. At which point, I pulled a Rubio, got some water, and I thought about what he was talking about. And I've got to say that a lot of the things that I've been ruminating on for years, trying to figure out why any American would be interested in giving up their rights, would willingly do so. And then, why such an American would seek to give away my rights. So I'd like to bring up Mr. Evan Sayet, and please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, everybody, for giving me this honor to be here at Occupy San Diego. What? Do I have the wrong gig? Did I screw up again? You know, the truth is, there's a reason that they call themselves occupiers. They have taken their name very proudly from the Nazi occupation of Europe. Theirs is a violent movement. You know, it's funny, they always say we're on the verge of violence. Look at you guys. Any second now I'm expecting a melee to break out here. But the truth is, it's their side that has the body bags and the body counts and the rapes at their little tiny gatherings.
Yeah.
In fact, not only does the media and the rest of the people on the left, including our president, have it wrong, they have it as wrong can be. Everything they believe is diametrically opposed to the truth, always to the advantage of the evil, failed, and wrong, and the detriment of the good, right, and successful. You know, whether it's their conviction that it's this tiny liberal democracy of Israel that's the bad guys, and the Islamists and the Arabs who are the good guys and the oppressed, that's not just wrong, it is as wrong can be. Whether it's in our schools where they won't teach our children how to read or write, but they'll teach them how to fornicate, that is not just wrong, it is as wrong can be. And always to the advantage of the evil, failed, and wrong, or the detriment to the good, right, and successful. Folks, I would not do this because it is a shameless plug. It is almost embarrassing. But I wrote this book because I had to write this book. My pedigree, my career, my life is as a Hollywood entertainer, a television writer. I wrote Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my penance now, and what I love about being in a Christian nation is you have to forgive me. But in this book, I offer insights that you've always asked yourself, why? We're not talking, forgive me, I'm losing my voice from promoting this book on radio and television. I'm not talking about the Marxists. We know how the Marxists think. And we know why they want to undermine this nation. They want to replace our liberties with their Marxism. Thank you. I'm not talking about the Islamists. We know how the Islamists think. They want to weaken us because they want to replace our Judeo-Christian capitalism, our free society, with their oppressive Sharia law. But I know every single one of you has wondered why my cousin, why my aunt, why my neighbor. They're not Marxists, they're not Islamists, they're not stupid, and they're not evil. So how does the modern liberal think, and why does he get everything wrong? I'll give you an example of why, and then folks, I'm going to cut this short if you'll forgive me.
Go ahead and take a drink. It's okay with us.
And by the way, next week I'm on Time Magazine. It says over my head, Savior.
You gotta be right, don't.
Let's say that you were so open-minded that you're not allowed to believe that any religion, any culture, any nationality, any form of governance, any behavior is better than any other. After all, how can you be sure you don't just think those things are better, because of your prejudices. Because you're American, because you're a man, because you're a woman, because you're tall, because you're short, because you're fat, because you're skinny. How do you know that what you think is better isn't just a reflection of your bigotries? So the way that the liberal eliminates all bigotries is by eliminating all rational thought. In the modern liberal era, thinking has been deemed a hate crime. And is to be assiduously avoided and hated when seen practiced by others. This is why they can't disagree with us. This is why they hate us. They don't hate us because we're wrong. You don't hate people because they're wrong. You don't hate your cousin, your nephew, Katie Couric, or whomever. You hate people because we're evil, and they're evil. And what makes them evil? What makes us evil is that we think. It's called discriminating thought. And that makes us evil discriminators. Let me give you an example of how it works. Barack Obama was asked, "Do you believe in American exceptionalism?" And he gave a very clever, very politic answer in which he said, "Yes, I do." And then went on to say, in fact, "No, I don't." Here's what he said. "I believe in American exceptionalism just as I'm sure the Brits believe in British exceptionalism and the Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism." In other words, if he does believe America is exceptional, it's not because of his intellect. It's not because he has compared our Constitution to theirs, our Judeo-Christian heritage to theirs, our Protestant work ethic to theirs, and said, yeah, America's exceptional. If he thinks America's exceptional at all, it is simply because he lives here and he roots for the home team. If he lived in Great Britain, he would think Great Britain was exceptional. If he lived in Greece, he would think Greece is exceptional. Kind of the way if you ask somebody from Chicago, do you think the Chicago Cubs are an exceptional baseball team? But here's the problem. If the President of the United States does not believe America is exceptional, then how is he to explain our exceptional success? How is he to explain our exceptional strength? How is he to explain our exceptional ingenuity, productivity, creativity? If we're nothing special, then our success is unjust. And since America is the most successful nation in the history of the world, Obama and those who think like Obama have no choice but to believe America is the greatest injustice in the history of the world. So it becomes his job as a citizen of the world, that's what he calls himself. It becomes his moral responsibility. Social justice demands that he right the things by making America weaker. Globalist. He's a globalist. And therefore, when America wants to drill for oil, we are not allowed to use our own resources. They claim it's about the environment, but then why are we funding Brazil? I'm sorry, sir. If you want to go ahead, it's audience participation.
God looks down on hypocrisy because he's the only one that knows what's in your heart more than infidelity and murder.
Well, but here's how he knows what's in your heart. Because the opposite of indiscriminateness, nothing is better than anything else. The opposite of indiscriminateness is the evil of having discriminated. So you're not just wrong, you're bad, you're an evil discriminator because you say some things are better than others. I listened to Joy Behar, yes, it was an accident. The tuner fell off for a moment, I tried to kick it over. Joy Behar said, in all sincerity, and she's not an idiot in that she doesn't have a brain that functions. She's not an idiot in that she doesn't know. She said the only reason that we teach Shakespeare in our schools is because he's a dead white Christian man. So social justice demands that in our schools, not only do we not teach Shakespeare because he's nothing special, but we should never teach him again because we've already taught him too much. The bottom line, and please let me save my voice, read my book, I'll make you a deal. Email me when you're done, and if it isn't the best book on the subject you've ever read, I don't know what I'll do. I made a promise I couldn't keep. I should run for office, folks. But the lecture upon which this mini lecture is based, Andrew Breitbart called one of the 5 most important conservative speeches ever given. This book, if you know who Bill Whittle is, Bill Whittle said, is Bill Whittle not the best? Brilliant. Bill Whittle said perhaps the most important book I've read in the last 10 years. Folks, I gotta head back to Los Angeles. I'll stick around for a little while if you want me to sign, if you want to talk to me. Otherwise, the books will be in the corner. I'm telling you, this, I'm not selling it just to make the money. I make money in other ways too. This book will answer the question about why your brother, why your cousin, why your nephew, good, smart, decent people not only have it wrong, they have it as wrong can be. In every case, diametrically opposed to all that is good, right, and successful. God, first of all, thank God for allowing me to share this with you, and thank you for allowing me to share it.
Mr. Evan Sayet.